Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everybody today? Anybody doing anything fun for the 4th of July? I'm going to my grandma's house, which will be fun. We didn't know she would have it this year because she suffered a brain bleed at the beginning of the year. So we're all going there this summer or for the 4th to see her. I'm just gonna wait a minute before we introduce Jean Carlos, and then we'll get started since there's more people coming in. But if you want to talk about what you're going to do for the 4th of July, that'll be awesome. Cool and fireworks. I like it, Megan. All are always so quiet. Hi, Lisa. Oh, yes. Thank you, Lisa. It's been feels weird doing it once a month. I keep forgetting. Yes, please, if you could put your first, last name, and email address into the chat box. That way I can send you anything that for follow. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you all. Perfect. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate everybody here. We have two special guests today. The first one is Jean Carlos, and then later on we'll have Mad Science right after that. Thank you for coming, everyone. All right. Well, since it's quiet down a lot, I am going to hand it over to you, Jean. Carlos, if you want to go ahead and start, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Yes, awesome, loud and clear. Perfect. Just go ahead and share my screen. Great. Can you guys see the screen, the presentation I have here? Yes. Awesome, great. So let's get started. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful afternoon. My name is Jean Carlos Ricardo. I was known as a BCBA, or a board certified behavior analyst in the world of ABA. Today's presentation will be about understanding the potential benefits of implementing ABA in the child care centers and how our collaboration can start to pretty much revolutionize the success of child care centers. Let me get started by introducing myself. Again, my name is Jean Carlos Ricardo, and I am the founder of Blue Hearts ABA Services. I will keep the chat live, so if you have any questions or whatnot, I'll be on the lookout for that. Again, I'm the founder and CEO of Blue Hearts ABA Services, and something that we do, we are a small local business in the Denver metro area that uses evidence-based strategies and practices in order to provide behavior therapy services, or what we know as ABA, to kids with autism and other developmental disabilities. We also train staff, caregivers, parents, teachers on how to implement ABA strategies and techniques to have a meaningful impact on these kids that we serve. In this presentation, we'll talk about what is ABA, its efficacy or its effectiveness in changing behavior and teaching a skill. We'll talk about some techniques to get a glimpse of strategies that we tend to use in this field. We will talk and discuss how we can all collaborate to have a positive impact on the kids that we serve. And lastly, we'll just summarize the presentation and conduct a Q&A for any questions you guys may have for me. So some of you may have heard of ABA, while others are asking, what is ABA and how can I benefit from it? ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. It is a branch of psychology that uses the principles of behavior psychology in order to understand how we learn and how we behave. And because it is considered a science, we use research-based strategies and techniques that have been proven to work. And just like any other science, whether it's medicine, chemistry, physics, or biology, there has to be research and parameters to prove its effectiveness, pretty much. And with that being said, the understanding of ABA has been increasing exponentially in the past few years. ABA can be seen all around us. I mean, we see it in animal training. We see it in management, in corporations, in schools. Pretty much wherever there's behavior, there's some type of ABA component attached to it. Here at Blue Hearts, we primarily focus on implementing ABA strategies and techniques to kids that are developing atypically. Some disorders or syndromes that can impede a kid's development are the following. So there are kids that have autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, or autism. Other kids may have Down syndrome, or ADHD, or Fragile X syndrome, or ODD, operational defiant disorder. These kids clinically diagnosed with one of these disorders or multiple of these disorders can reach developmental milestones later than other children his or her age, which in turn can affect the child's physical, cognitive, communication, social, emotional, even behavior skills. Kids are always learning from what is going on around them, and they develop skills through their interactions with others and the environment. Now imagine a child that sees the world differently than their typical developing peers. These kids will start to behave in ways that best suits them. And it is our job as childcare providers and behavior technicians to pretty much set boundaries in order to pave the way for a successful development. And because ABA is considered a science, like I mentioned before, there has to be research to support our understanding of it, and studies show its effectiveness. Here on the slide, you'll see 3 studies that pretty much support the success of ABA. There has been studies showing that ABA can improve challenging behavior in kids diagnosed with autism up to 90%. And this is by a study by Eldevic and al. In 2009. There are other studies that show how ABA improved language skills, adaptive behavior, and social skills, leading to increased independence and daily living skills when compared to those kids that did not receive any type of interventions. Here at Blue Hearts, we use ABA techniques and strategies in order to increase language and communication skills. We use ABA to improve attention, focus, social skills, memory, academics, and teach any skill that a child should know by their age, like tying their shoes, or brushing teeth, or brushing their hair, or even getting dressed. We also implement ABA techniques and strategies to decrease problem behavior and increase positive or appropriate behaviors. And because ABA is data-driven, it's a data-driven field, there are graphs that display the child's progress or lack of. The graphs that you see here on the right are some examples of graphs we analyze to determine if what we're doing is actually working. If you take a look here at the bottom graph, we see that this graph is displaying behavior of hitting and biting. In this example, after the intervention, we see that the behavior is starting to go down, which is something that we would want to see. On the graph on top, we see an increase in appropriate behavior. In this case, it's the percentage of time of engagement during reading sessions. So now that you have a better understanding of what ABA is, let's take a look at how to implement it and how does ABA therapy really work. Since I cannot fit 6 years worth of information into a few slides, let's just go over the basics. One of the techniques that we use is called positive reinforcement. And I'm sure most of you have heard of this technique in one shape or another. Just know that when a behavior is followed by reward, it can be something tangible, it can be something that they're able to obtain, or non-tangible like attention or access to a park or whatnot. The person being rewarded will most likely repeat the behavior that they're being rewarded for again in the future. So for example, let's say that your supervisor or colleague acknowledges your hard work and provides you a compliment. You are more likely to repeat that behavior that got you that acknowledgement or that compliment. Assuming obviously that you like gratitude and acknowledgement, you're more likely to continue excelling in what you do. As a side note, supervisors, if you don't do this, I would highly encourage you to start doing this. Another example that I can provide you that I've seen in childcare centers and in schools is the use of a treasure box or some type of modification of a treasure box. So providing access to a treasure box when all rules are followed or when a child does not engage in a problem behavior is a very useful technique. In this technique, the child will realize that if they want access to a treasure box or a specific toy in the treasure box, they must follow a set of rules. The correct behaviors are being rewarded. Therefore, the desired behavior are more likely to occur in the future. Again, that's just the power of using positive reinforcements. Now, it's your turn to think critically. Let's say that you place a non-preferred demand on a child, like washing their hands or cleaning up a toy. And all of a sudden, they start throwing a tantrum right after you tell them. They start yelling, they start hitting other kids, or even running away with a toy. And because of that behavior, they are placed in a timeout or some type of modification of a timeout in which they're placed in a corner or facing the wall. Now, with this in mind, with this scenario in mind, do you think the child is learning a lesson from their behavior and won't throw the tantrum again? Or do you think that the child will repeat these problem behaviors after they are instructed to do something that they don't want? I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to go ahead and put your answers in the chat box. Okay, yeah, so the question might be a little confusing, okay? But in reality, the child will most likely throw the tantrum again, believe it or not. Why, you may ask? So the behavior, meaning throwing a fit, was rewarded, right? The child wanted to escape from an unpreferred activity, which in this case was washing hands or cleaning up. And the child throws a fit, they're placed in timeout, meaning they are allowing, or we are allowing them to escape from that non-preferred demand. Okay, so let me recap really quick, because this one can be a little tricky, and I've seen it. I've seen this being implemented in a lot of childcare centers and even in schools. Okay, and this is an important one. Again, knowing the reason as to why they're engaging in this behavior is crucial. So again, you place a demand or a non-preferred demand on a child that typically it's a demand that they don't want. The child throws a fit and they're placed in timeout. The child escapes from doing what they're wanted to do. And in return, the tantrum was rewarded. So the next time the child is told to do something they don't want to do, they will remember this, and they're more likely to engage in a tantrum behavior because they previously learned that by throwing a tantrum, they can escape from doing what they are told to do. I remember last time I was teaching this concept, someone in the audience asked me, so are we just supposed to force them to do this non-preferred demand? Absolutely not. This is where other techniques of ABA come in place. Like for example, acknowledging the child's frustration and providing options. You can say something along the lines of, Timmy, I see that you are upset. Do you want to wash your hands in 3 minutes or do you want to wash your hands in 5 minutes? Now, giving them options gives them a sense of autonomy and being in control of the situation. When in reality, any option that they choose is pretty much fine with you. Another technique is providing an alternative demand. So for example, you can say, Alex, I understand you don't want to clean up, but can you help Billy with his toys? I think he needs an extra hand. In this scenario, you're providing the same demand to the initial demand, but if the child does comply, this is a perfect opportunity to what we call build momentum and reward that compliance and slowly start integrating a little bit more, other simple demands, okay? So that eventually it can get to the initial demand that you were initially placing on them. Another technique is manipulating the environment and providing simple instructions. This is something that's pretty much effective to the kiddos that we work with. So for example, you can get a gummy worm and place it in the sink and say something along the lines of, hey, Samantha, did you see this gummy worm in the sink? It looks pretty dirty. Let's show him what soap we use. And once the child approaches the sink, you can provide verbal praise for listening and continue building instructions upon that and providing simple demands until the initial task of washing the hands are complete. Again, these are a few strategies of many that we utilize in this field in order to get a child to comply. And if you're paying really close attention, you would realize that those ABA techniques were directed to just one child, okay? But what about in a group setting, like a childcare setting? The beauty about ABA is that you can implement it on anyone or any group of individuals that engage in behavior. A group strategy we use is what we call antecedent intervention or intervening before the behaviors occur, which simply means implementing a strategy prior to the occurrence of any behavior. For example, if you know that a group of children will have a tantrum right before nap time, or have a tendency of running around prior to nap time, don't just tell them that it is nap time and deal with the consequences afterwards. Instead, provide warnings or signs that a nap time is about to happen and provide assistance or what we call prompts in getting the children ready for a nap. Another method that is very effective in group settings is what we call group contingencies. So a group contingency is a behavior management protocol where a single reward is provided on either the behavior of an individual in a group, the behavior in a particular set of people in a group, or the group as a whole. And the last one, just to quickly provide you another example, is using, again, reinforcers, like, for example, verbal praise. And again, using reinforcers is another very effective strategy when it comes to working with individuals or a group of individuals. For example, during circle time, acknowledging one of the kids for a desired behavior, like, for example, raising their hands to answer a question or sitting quietly. This will increase the likelihood that the other children also engage in that desired behavior. And again, like the other slide, this is just some techniques of many techniques that we tend to work with when dealing with kids or when working with a group of kids. This might be a lot of information, okay? But again, we're not expecting you to be behavior analysts after this presentation. That's where we come in. At Blue Hearts, we're dedicated to train staff and adults on how to implement ABA strategies with kids. In a 4-hour course, we teach you the fundamentals of behavior psychology, teach you how to implement strategies to decrease problem behavior and increase desired behavior in one child or a group of kids. Teach how to deliver reinforcers and even how to teach a specific skill to these children. The training will have to be in person. It can be provided at your center or at any office space that suits the staff of the childcare. At the completion of this course, you will receive a certification stating that you have obtained a fundamental knowledge of ABA in the childcare setting, and this certificate will be valid for 1 year. Our next classes will start in October of this year. And in regards to prices, the course costs $99 per person. A class has to have a minimum of 5 individuals. And we offer a 10% discount for every 5 individuals after the initial 5. Okay, and because you guys are our audience for today, we do have a little bonus for you. The first 10 childcare centers to take our course after this presentation will receive a 5-hour free consultation for the year that they have that valid certificate for. And that can include anything in regards to a BCBA, going to your child care and giving you some options of how to deal with specific behaviors, or giving you suggestions as to what to do under certain situations. So getting childcare staff trained is something that's very important, especially teaching them the fundamentals of ABA. One, higher satisfaction rate by families. Staff become more knowledgeable on how to deal with behaviors, and you might start increasing your clientele. When families are looking for childcare centers, they are looking for the best centers to place their child and that meets their needs. Many of the families that we work with here in Blue Hearts are always looking for childcare centers to place their children in, but there's one dilemma. They always face rejection because the childcare staff are not well trained or don't have the appropriate knowledge on how to handle their children. We always get these complaints. After the completion of this course, if 90% or more of the childcare staff in the center has taken the course, the center will receive a certification of completion that states that most of the staff in that center has been trained in how to handle behaviors using a research-based approach, which you guys can eventually make public. And here at Blue Hearts, we can provide these families a list of child care centers that have been trained in ABA. It just simply benefits everyone, from the children to the staff to the centers, everyone. Another service that we provide here at Blue Hearts is direct therapy. We go into childcare centers and provide one-on-one services for kids with autism or any other developmental disability. And it's for no additional cost since we work directly with the family's insurance. And at the moment, we do have a waiting list of 2 to 3 months. However, there is a little catch. Since we cannot solicit these services, we will need your help in order to reach out to these families. So we will need the family to reach out to us in order to initiate that service. So at the end of today's chat presentation, Amanda will be sending out our flyer that you can provide these families, especially these families that you may know that may benefit from these services in the childcare settings. And once they contact us, we would be more than happy to help them get the services started for their child. And this brings us to a conclusion. Okay, here is pretty much the summary of this presentation. ABA has undergone many changes throughout the years to positively change or impact the lives of many individuals. ABA continues to use evidence-based practice to promote children's success and their well-being. ABA strategies are seen everywhere that there is behavior, from animal training to corporations meeting specific goals with their staff. And when implemented correctly, ABA could lead to extremely rewarding results. From my experience working in the field, I have noticed a loophole in the childcare system that can pretty much be patched with the right collaboration between childcare centers and ABA agencies. And lastly, we all have a common goal, whether it's the childcare center or ABA agencies. We all want to see these kids succeed and give them the foundations that they need for their progress or their success. Because after all, these children are our future. Thank you. Now let's go ahead and open the floor to any questions that you all may have for me. I have attached the contact or our contact information on this slide for those of you that are interested in our services. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the chat. If you guys have any questions, or you guys should just make yourself or unmute yourself to answer and to ask any questions. Okay, not all at once now. Do we take insurance for families? Yes, we do. We take Medicaid. As a matter of fact, on the flyer that we'll be providing you guys is a list of all the insurances that we take. But we take the majority of them, from Magellan to strictly Medicaid, to Cigna, or we call it Evernorth. There's a bunch of them that are on that list that families will see. Of course, you're welcome. Early Childhood Partner says, excited about the training opportunities for. Awesome. We're here to help you guys and help these children as much as possible. Here in the state of Colorado, we have seen how these kids, especially kids with disabilities, are separated from their typical developing kids. And something that I'm trying to do to help these kids out here in the state of Colorado is somehow integrate them into what's considered a normal setting. Because we have schools like Firefly and the Joshua School, which they implement ABA strategies, but they tend to segregate these kids away from their neurotypical developing peers. Someone says, do the students attend their sessions at Blue Hearts, or do they get their services something in home school? Or right now we only provide services in home settings, and it's the best approach in order to teach them, because again, they're in their natural environment. Polis actually signed a bill last year that allows us to go into schools starting this year. So hopefully all the schools and all the administrators, they come up with a policy and how we're gonna be integrated into a school setting. Little Bosses says, is it a full-time program or a part-time program? Can you please elaborate on that? Is this are you referring to the services, or are you referring to the training? The services we provide is medically necessary, right? So myself as a behavior or BCBA, I would go in and analyze to see what the appropriate amount of hours is on a weekly basis. You know, some kids, their medical necessity would only recommend 15 hours a week, while others is 25 hours a week, or even up to 35 hours a week. So it really depends on the severity of the child. Of course, of course. You're very welcome. Thank you for asking. That's a very good question. Any other questions before we wrap up here?
You're always so quiet lately, but I'm glad we had some good questions this time.
Yeah, those are some really good questions. All right, so if no one has any any other great questions, I want to thank each and every single one of you for taking this time to listen to me and to learn about the different services that Blue Hearts has to offer. I'm looking forward to hearing from each and every single one of you. Before we depart, I would love to end with a little quotes that really resonates with the services that we all provide these children. And again, it is our job to function as a pillar to their success. And I truly believe that a collaboration between ABA services and childcare services can really help many kids blossom to their full potential. And the quote goes as follows: when a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environments in which it grows, not the flower, by Alexander Den Hager. Thank you very much, everyone. And again, thank you again for learning about Blue Hearts and taking this time to really be involved with this presentation. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Jean. Carlos, we really appreciate you taking time and explaining it. And then you'll send me that flyer and I'll make sure everybody on this call gets that for you. And then
Awesome.
anybody that is on this call that has a quality improvement fund that just signed their new MOU, you can actually use those funds for his training as well. So just to put that out there, if you're wondering how to pay for it, you have funds through ECPAC if you signed a new MOU this fiscal year.
Great. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
You can stay
Thank
if you
you, too.
want to, but if not, have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
I'm going to now pass it over to Mad Science and listen to how much fun stuff that they do.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sammy from Mad Science. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. We are mad scientists and we do experiments all day long. And with summer, we are doing a lot of hands-on workshops. So a little background of the company. I'm just going to share the screen because I know it looks cooler than what I look now. So, okay. So this is us. Just to give you an idea of who we are and what we do work with kids ages 4 through 12, basically preschool through elementary ages. And we do hands-on programs with the students of that age. So a couple of things we do after-school programs, we do special events, shows, we do workshops, which are like dedicated to a particular age, like 3 to 4, 4 to 5. So age-wise workshops. And then we do summer camps, and we also do fun science-themed parties. So the backbone of the company, as the name says, it's Mad Science. So we are hands-on science. It's a franchise and we're based off of Colorado here. And our corporate is in Canada, Montreal. So we do get the curriculum, from our corporate, and the R&D has created a curriculum matching the national science standards. So we get the curriculum from our R&D department, as I mentioned, and we do hands-on programs. All our programs, except for summer camps, are an hour long. We have also done for the very, very little kids, like just barely 4 years old, we also do programs 35 to 45 minutes. And we go, and in the summer, we work a lot with all the daycares and the summer camps at the daycares, being held at the daycares. Now, some of the daycares have also school-age kids, and but most of them have preschoolers. So we have a separate list of topics for all the age ranges. So just wanted to give you an idea that the workshops, the programs that we have that are designed per Mad Science curriculum cater to the ages 3 to 12. They can range anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, and they're hands-on. All activities are hands-on, and instructors are background checked and trained on our curriculum. And just wanted to give you a little bit more idea of, say, themes. Say we have 4 to 5 years of ages at a preschool, and they have in summer, like you all have themed weeks. So we have split our course into under each theme, and say you want to teach space to the kids hands-on. So we have workshops related to space, engineering, chemistry, life sciences, animal sciences, so a wide variety. And just wanted to give you an idea of what, we have over around 70 themes for these ages. We also have a specialized theme for hydroponics, but that is for a little bit older kids like 5 and up. And it's a series of 10 workshops. So that's all I wanted to give you an idea of what we do and how we do our science programs. I just want to take a little bit pause here and see if there's any question. If not, then I can give more information. So, yeah, any question? Okay. So we do work with different, we are district approved. We work with Adams 12, we work with Jeffco, we work with Douglas County, Cherry Creek School District, and Denver Public School District. So we also work with Fort Collins, and we also, in the South, we go down up to Monument. We used to do programs with Springs, but it's a little bit far from us. We are in Denver. So the teachers are hired who have experience working with kids. They're trained in science. So these are the teachers who will go to these locations and do the workshops. Now, some daycares we work with in Jeffco, they have us on a consistent schedule, like, every Monday we go there for 45 minutes to an hour, and we do that for 10 weeks. So we do programs like spring, winter, and summer. With one of the districts, we also do like a very small, like short duration camp, because two hours is a good time for that age 3 to 5. So we do 4-day camp with that district in the summer, 4 weeks in summer. So we do different things in science, after school programs, if you just one-off workshops or camps, whatever you're interested, or maybe, at end of the year, you want to throw a party, like, have everybody in the daycare sit, in the auditorium or your cafeteria, and we do a show, like a demonstration. So a couple things we do with science hands-on for that ages. So that's what I wanted to present to you. We work with Adams 12, but never got a chance to talk to any of you or work with you. So I thought this might be a good platform to tell about our program and what we do. We are very close to the Adams 12 5-star, even the district office. So that's where we are located. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. It looks like there is a question. Does your website provide prices for the services?
Yes. It does on high level. And when I say high level, because there are programs, yes, we do work with Mapleton Public Schools also whenever they get a grant, we do. So let's talk about the prices, because there's so much of variety. Some of the prices we have taken it down. We just give a range. And if you're interested, I can send you the prices, like detailed prices of these programs. We have a flyer that we can share with prices. This is the email. On an average, it's around $225 for an hour. And we handle up to 25 kids in a workshop. We bring the supply, that includes the supply cost as well. And if anyone books multiple programs with us, then there is a discount offered. So just wanted to give you an example, say the chemistry one, it's called Mad Mixtures for the days, preschoolers. That topic is called Mad Mixtures. They learn the chemistry concepts, and so they are mixing chemicals safe. They're making a Play-Doh, and that's the workshop we do with all the kids. So we bring all the supplies and everything. The camp price is a little bit different. If you want to have like more than an hour long camp, the prices go a little bit different, and then it's per kid. So yes, it's on the website. At Mapleton, we worked with 3 schools. Welby was the last one we worked full year. They had a grant for couple seasons, so we did teach 2 classes every week, one for the little kiddos and one for the older kiddos, same day, 2 times a week. Any other question? I like that name, Little Bosses, by the way. So cute. And true. So yeah, just shoot me an email if anyone is interested and I can share the flyer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sammy. You can go ahead and forward me that flyer and I'll make sure it gets into the email that gets to everybody later. And we really appreciate you telling us about your mad science. I wish I knew about you when I was a director because that would have been a fun summer camp idea for everybody.
Thank you so
Does anybody
much.
have? Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Anybody else have any questions about anything on today's chats? Oh, so quiet all the time. Well, if you don't have any questions, I just ask that if you have not already, put your first name, last name, and email address into the chat. That way I can make sure you get the follow-up information with all the flyers and information that you need from today. And then other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday. And hopefully it's not going to rain yet. I'm just looking at clouds. I appreciate everybody taking time out of their day to being with us today and hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and a great holiday weekend. Thank you.